This is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Small Business Update with Tom Sullivan, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us on another U.S. Chamber Small Business Update right here at ASBN.com. This month we're talking about the Chamber's top priorities for small business owners this new year. Plus we'll also take a look at how incoming SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler may approach key issues that will impact small businesses. Joining us now to walk us through it all is Tom Sullivan. You've seen him here before on the show, the Vice President of Small Business Policy at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time out of what I would imagine is a very busy time right now for you in D.C.
It is a busy time. It's great to be here, Jim. And when it comes to small business, it's okay to be busy. Things are looking good.
Sure. So let's kind of jump right in. What are the Chamber's top small business priorities for 2025?
Well, we have one giant overarching priority, and that is growth. At the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, as you know, we represent 3 million businesses, most of whom are small.
Wow.
Includes local, state, regional chambers of commerce and their members. It is all about growth. And it's specifically, we are about getting to 3% sustained growth. We believe that it's achievable, but it's going to take some work. And those top two things about the work that has to be done are A, reauthorize the Trump tax reforms that were passed into law in 2017.
Right.
And B, deregulation to free up small business owners' time. And as you know, we've talked about this, time is money.
That's right.
You reduce red tape, you free up time, you're actually freeing up capital, cash, and attention for small businesses to grow.
That's
right.
Right.
We're excited about those top two priorities.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think everybody, for whether it's almost doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, everybody would agree that Trump is very pro-business, which really means so much for small business owners today, doesn't it?
It does. And I will never get sick of hearing President Trump talk about that he was elected on a mandate for growth.
Right.
Specifically economic growth. So
Right.
Every time we hear that at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, it is music to our ears.
Yeah, I would imagine. Open up markets around the globe is another key priority. What opportunities are out there for small businesses looking to sell internationally? We hear so much, too, about what's happening on a global basis, but what opportunities are out there?
Well, we do think that there have not been enough free market agreements with the United States over the past 4 to 8 years. And so we are leaning into the opportunities for small businesses to sell anywhere in the world. There's one reauthorization that has to happen in Congress, Jim, that we're optimistic about that. And that is the Generalized System of Preferences. Okay. It's called GSP. Okay. This is a law that allows the United States and many countries, primarily in Southeast Asia, to interact freely without a lot of the barriers that prevent robust trade. This law that benefited both U.S. firms and underdeveloped countries has not been reauthorized in several years. And we think that an all-Republican Congress and a Republican president opens up the opportunity to see GSP reauthorization.
Right. And that's a beautiful thing for small businesses, that's for sure. With Kelly Loeffler stepping in as SBA Administrator, that was a big announcement. Our studios are here in Georgia. She is Georgia-based, so we love that whole idea. But how do you see her supporting the Chamber's priorities?
Well, I got to spend a little bit of time with Senator Loeffler preparing her for her confirmation hearing. And I'll tell you, and I'll tell all of your viewers, I was really, really impressed. Here is a businesswoman who grew up on a family farm. Her dad had a small trucking company. She took a startup all the way up to the Fortune 500, started a fintech company. So it's really amazing that one person has done all these things on her way up in her career. She obviously was in the Senate for a little bit. And just that background, and then meeting her personally and hearing what she's all about gives me tremendous optimism. When she appeared before the Senate Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, she talked about her role as the advocate for growth to a pro-growth president.
Right.
And she really drilled in to the importance of reauthorizing the pro-growth provisions in the 2017 tax law, things like the 20% deduction. She drilled in very deeply on the importance of immediate expensing for research and development. And she also talked about the importance of deregulation and what that means to a small business owner that can better use their time and money to grow their business. So I think a lot of the small business community is thrilled that Senator Loeffler will be the head of SBA. And I know at your studios in Georgia, you're equally thrilled to have a Georgian native
That's right.
In that key position in government.
Yeah, no question about it. She was a great senator and just an all-around great person. And to your point, knows and understands and appreciates what small business owners go through each and every day. And that it's so welcomed to have her in that position for sure. So what are some of the other items on your to-do list for 2025?
Well, Jim, we talk about the importance of growth. We also talk about the importance of certainty. And the elephant in the room really right now is about tariffs and threats of tariffs.
Right.
Now, the downside of threatened tariffs is that it really sends a shock into the certainty that small business owners have, and it escalates the uncertainty. That negatively affects small business.
Right.
We believe that President Trump's goals and those goals of reducing drug trafficking in the United States, those are really good goals. We stand with the president on those goals. But using tariffs as a primary tool to solve those problems, we don't think is the right way to do it, because broad tariffs increase costs for small businesses, increase costs for consumers, which we think is the opposite of pro-growth. So that's kind of the elephant in the room right now.
Right.
I was talking with a small business owner who is a manufacturer in Minnesota. And, my reaction was, oh, this is great, that these threatened tariffs were postponed. And she let me know, she said, look, my largest business customers are already trying to renegotiate prices down because they're anticipating tariffs in the future. So it's already having a negative impact. No business at all wants to raise costs for their customers.
Right.
So the larger business wants to cover that cost, not by raising its prices, but by trying to reduce the costs from our small business member who is a manufacturing company who services the aerospace industry. So that renegotiation of contracts is happening now. And I think that going forward would be a troubling set of concerns that would upset the certainty that I think so many small business owners were optimistic about when President Trump took the White House. Right. I mean, his agenda of pro-growth will help American small businesses and help communities grow. Like, all small businesses that I talk with are excited about that. And the recent anxiety over tariffs has kind of has been a little bit of a disappointment, I think, across small business owners.
I've asked you this before, and I'm going to ask you again because of all of the change since I've spoken to you last. And obviously, there's people that are concerned about the tariffs. They're concerned about interest rates and inflation. Where is that going to go? Is it going to continue to come down or go up or what have you because of this? But is now a good time to start a small business? There's many people that watch us that haven't done that yet and are contemplating it. But what say you on that?
All right, so Jim, I'm going to give you the same answer with a little bit more energy, a little bit more excitement. Right. The reason is that not only have we seen a rise in new businesses, we're seeing at the White House an acknowledgement of the power of technology and the power of artificial intelligence to allow small business owners to compete against multinational companies all over the world.
That's a good point.
I think that makes right now an even more exciting time to start a small business.
Yeah, no question about it. I knew I could count on you to say now it's always, you usually say it's always a great time. I happen to agree with you on that, but there are people that would like to hear that from you, especially in your position as Vice President of Small Business Policy at the U.S. Chamber. So Tom Sullivan, once again, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We very much appreciate it. A lot of people get a lot out of your segments. We know that because they send us nice emails saying, get that guy back on. So we love what he has to say. So thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you for being such a tremendous advocate for small businesses around the country.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Small Business Update with Tom Sullivan.